All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
My Hero Academia, Season 5, Episode 1.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, we're back for My Hero Academia. This is a recap episode of sorts, some kind of anime original thing, much like Season 4, which actually had a really good
It did have a good
original
one.
episode with the
Camcork guy.
The photography camera quirk.
Right.
But this time here, we've shifted things away from where the story was way back when. All Might is officially out of the Hero Society setup of things. Endeavor is the new #1 hero. We've got a new kind of intrigue-based plot of sorts going on with him. Hawks, a new character that's involved.
Right.
And given that this is going to be kind of a foundational episode for Season 5, I think that'll kind of give us a little bit of a pointing in the direction of what kind of things we need to talk about, at least after the episode.
Yeah, it'll probably set the tone for the season.
Well, not in that regard, because it's going to be anime original, but telling us at least like what characters like will actually be involved,
Be the most relevant and things like that.
General,
Yeah,
in that regard, yeah. But given that this is anime original and stuff like that, guys, the next episode is actually more the first episode officially here.
It's clearing the pipeline so that way everyone's back on board with MHA and in case you've got any of the characters, the quirks, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So we do react to these. We don't react to the trailers because those usually have spoilers involved there.
Right.
So that's why we're reacting to this, but not to the trailer. So just in case you're wondering, that's why. But yeah, guys, our students are going into their next kind of stage of things, and we'll get to follow their story. So yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right.
Okay.
Season 5,
So,
we're back. All right,
yeah.
2 things about this episode. First one, the recap, kind of giving us all the quirks about all the characters and stuff. That's kind of par for the course at the moment because the main issue with Class 1A is that there are too many characters for most people that just watch the show season to season to actually keep track of things there, especially once they start adding their actual hero names in addition to, keeping track of all their quirks and names and stuff.
And on top of that, it's something where we don't necessarily have a concrete set of core characters because while we have Bakugo and Deku, it'll shift through which character has the spotlight.
Of course. Second thing with this episode is that they actually did a fun job of having a hijinks kind of little moment there while bringing in some of the recent new additions to the cast and showing that they will be probably somewhat relevant in the upcoming season, namely Mirio, Tamaki, and Nejire. So, okay, if those 3 and Class 1A are kind of the same kind of deal there, that's good. In the OP and ED, we very much got the reminder that this is going to be an Endeavor continuation of what happened in Season 4.
All for.
Because that was not a clear arc, really. That was more the beginning of an arc, if anything.
And yeah, it was a similar situation to like when we'd get the, this person origin story kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now we're going to follow up on that. And then the end credits scene basically saying that, well, the most obvious twist in all of MHA, oh, wait, is Dobby a Todoroki?
You haven't confirmed it, but
I think so.
But we're dealing with that, which I like, because it's something where Shigaraki, as a he's obviously endgame villainy, right?
Of course,
but he's brought a lot of people underneath him, and we didn't really get much Dabi recently, even though he was introduced as like one of the most powerful people in his retinue. So it makes sense. Back in season 3, so it makes sense that we would get him a bit later, and I think we might have even called it. Possibly, or did they hint it at the end of the season?
They hinted at it very strongly in season 3.
Oh, right, because there was
very strongly.
Well, and there was because there was also the whole thing of the burnt picture.
Well, but, not only that, just the the Todoroki kind of moment there where they shared with Shoto. And that was a really clear kind of pointing at it. And then if they follow up on it, this would be where to do it. When you have an Endeavor-focused arc.
Exactly.
Where what they did with him was basically said, hey, the heroes that act villainous can still have heroic virtues, if that makes sense.
Right.
Then we have Hawks, who acts overtly heroic, can probably have some villainous aspects of him as well. Because one of the things that this kind of end credits bit kind of teases almost a bit too hard is the idea that, oh, Hawks is bad because he's meeting with Dobby. We have no idea as to actually why he's meeting with Dobby.
No, and while the look on his face definitely gives the impression of, all right, the kind facade is gone, I'm the cold, hard bad guy kind of a thing. It doesn't have to be cut and dry. It doesn't have to be like one thing or the other. Go for it. What do you think?
I was just saying, it's not cut and dry. That's the whole point, is that Endeavor's character being the focus means that anyone else that's a major part of the arc in general, with him as the focus there, is not going to have a clear evil, good kind of bit there. And Hawks is the perfect example of that. He's egotistical. Like, one of the things that makes him so antithetical to the kids' kind of new kind of wave of being heroes is that they're the selfless do-gooders, the ones that will, you know, take the charge to the front lines and do as much like service-based things as possible. Whereas Hawks is like popularity, hitting those numbers,
doing the easy life, like,
and then just, you know, showing your heroic stuff for the public. It's a very much like, hey, when I'm in public, I am the best hero there is.
Right.
Well, we don't know who Hawks is behind closed doors. And here we know, at the very least, he meets with a villain, and he has a very much like, why do I have to deal with you kind of Dobby? And you're beneath me, almost like condescending look.
Yep, and that's something that I'm very curious to get into because the thing that always made me the most interested about Hawks was his non-heroic traits that didn't seem like they were strong enough to be like villainous traits. Like Endeavor, it's like, okay, like before he started to go on his redemption arc, it's like, this is a bad dude. Like, this is like he was almost in the villain category, but technically classified by society as a hero type situation. Right.
What he did behind closed doors, we knew about because of Todoroki's backstory. Right. However, it's the thing of where we don't know anything since then. Like, he is kind of just a bad father figure in the story.
And we can assume based on all the effort that he has put on display when we see him that he's trying to turn things around, right? Whereas with Hawks, it seemed like something that wasn't ever so much of a problem that it would ever need to be changed, right? He could continue on being his sort of egotistical, cocky self, right? And that would be a fun dynamic for a number 2, right?
Yeah.
But now we see him interacting with Dobby, and it's like, okay, that changes up the game.
Well, it basically tells us he's willing to, at the very least, do things that are probably a bit shady under the table.
Right, do things that could potentially jeopardize his position.
Well, okay, so one of the things that I had as a theory that I think is more just getting pointed at here again is that the high-end thing was just completely set up. It was entirely a publicity thing.
Yep.
It was way too easy, really, to have it all just coincidentally happen.
Right.
And then also it being something where it's almost like the perfect test of, Endeavor's abilities, and yet it also, like, helps him.
Right. This is
just saying that because of this, he's basically now being given the opportunity to show that he is worthy of being the number 1 hero.
Burn bright.
So this doesn't really negatively impact Endeavor because of the result, but if anything, just Hawks being there, he kind of just offered the pedestal to him. So maybe he's using the villains in some ways.
Yeah, like where I could see that potentially happening is that he didn't think Endeavor would actually be able to kill the high end or whatever. And so all the ways that he was helping Endeavor, pushing him towards, the Nomu and things like that, was actually to set it up so that maybe the Nomu could kill him, right?
But it didn't.
And in that sense it would be considered a failure. But without something like that, I don't see how to reconcile the actions of Hawks with what he did in the fight if he was also part of setting up the fight.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was saying that until we get anything to the contrary, whenever someone schemes and we don't know what the plan was, I always assume that everything went according to the plan in which they wanted here. Which means that all of this went exactly the way it was actually like set up to do. If Hawks like actually set this up with the villains, and he made the villains like, hey, you can try and actually like get this to go off, and you'll get an assassination attempt on Endeavor. Cool stuff.
And then I get to be the top hero or whatever.
Or I just get to look cool saving Endeavor or something like that. Either way, I think Hawks comes out on top of this no matter which way you slice it.
That's true.
Because he can get away, no problem. He can save plenty of people throughout this, even if Endeavor dies heroically.
And he did. He was like his feathers are pretty OP. Like he was saving tons of people.
Yeah, so if this was the intended kind of setup here, then Endeavor's the main one that wins out of this, actually.
Yeah.
Is that the public's perception of him just jumped tremendously.
Which I wouldn't expect to be something that either Dobby or Hawks in particular would want. If Hawks benefits on
why not?
Alongside, high tide rises all ships or whatever.
Yeah, I think we know that's the case.
Right, and that's how Hawks benefits. But as far as for Dobby, if
Endeavor dies.
Right, but then that's potentially
See, I feel like this is getting it more into the idea of, do we think Hawks is the kind of character where he's basically just fake, just entirely fake? And he's playing the heroes for all they're worth, and his rise to power is, his rise to prominence is all because of how he's basically, a traitor. He's double dealing basically here. I think that's very likely. But the fact that they just kind of threw the reveal out here like it was just so casual, I feel like there's more going on in this conversation than meets the eye.
I think so too, and I'm very excited to see that. And that's probably going to be like the very beginning of the next episode, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that's kind of tough about reveals on characters and the character of characters, is that how do you keep them to be multifaceted? If you do like this person actually might potentially anywhere from they just do dealings with villains, and that it could just be shady to they're full on like evil villain in disguise, kind of a thing, right?
I don't feel like Hawks is the kind of person, based on how much he actually does just save people, that he's doing this for actual evil reasons. He's doing this for selfish reasons, at best.
Yep, that's what I figured too.
And that's why I would say, in a lot of ways, I think this worked out exactly as he would have wanted. Because
I think it might have gone a bit better if Endeavor had died.
See, I don't think so. Because he likes Endeavor. He was Endeavor's biggest fan.
Yeah, that's true.
See, I feel like, if anything, he likes the idea of a raw, not necessarily perfect hero being number one, because it makes someone perfect like him look even better.
And didn't he actually mention that he doesn't want to be the number one?
Yeah, he did.
That sounds like it would be stressful. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight.
No, he likes that kind of lazy, kind of, I get to kind of have everything work out well by having all these other people do the really hard work. So, I, if anything, feel like this could be the kind of thing where we just need to know, why is he actually speaking with Dabi and not Shigaraki? Because that's where I think it's something that it could be okay, let's throw Hawks to the side for a second.
Okay.
Why would Dabi meet with Hawks? And I would say it's obvious. He wants to get to Endeavor. But why does he go to Hawks?
Because so if Hawks wanted to be the number one, that would be a potential motivating factor, even though it doesn't work on Hawks.
We know he doesn't really want to, though.
Yeah.
I think if we just think about it from Dabi's motivation, he might have something on Hawks. Hawks is an image guy.
Oh.
All it would take necessarily is to have it be a thing of where it's like, I have leverage on you.
Well,
or we're trading something. I'm setting up a deal, or I'm betraying the villains for you so that I can get to Endeavor, and then you can get some heroic stuff out of this. We're both traitors to our own people, or something like that.
The biggest complications potentially that I see coming out of this is that, one, since Hawks is an image guy, if Dabi, he wouldn't use these kinds of tactics because that's not the way he thinks. But if Dabi just recorded one of their meetings, posted a clip of number two hero meets with known villain and mass burning murderer, that would sell like hotcakes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But at the same time, what if Hawks was using Dobby to try and get at the League of Villains?
Yeah.
Of the they always stay in the shadows. I know what one of them wants, Endeavor, right? If I meet with them, maybe I can see if... Because it's two number twos meeting, right?
It is. It is very much the lieutenants are doing things that are potentially behind the back of their number ones, their captains.
And then there's the question of why, right?
And I think it's the common factor between the two of them is that they both are probably very connected to Endeavor in different ways. If Dabi is a Todoroki, which, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There was a red-haired brother that was never shown the face of in the flashbacks.
It's not going to be much of a reveal when it happens. It's going to be
it's going to be probably gut-wrenching because
of how it happens. Right, not that it happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Hawks was someone that we suspected was Two-Faced at the very least, just because he was so much about image. So the ultimate fall of him would be that his image was not real.
Right.
So right now we already see it's somewhat accurate, but the fact that he was Endeavor's biggest fan. If Dabi is actually Endeavor's son, like estranged son,
there could be so much crazy conflict.
Then they're both in some ways the not sons of Endeavor,
and that could.
There's a lot of cool story stuff that can come from that.
There's a lot of cool story stuff that can come from that, and one of the ways that I would love to see it happen is that what if Hawks is making Dabi believe that he hates Endeavor or wants Endeavor's spot or something like that.
Okay.
But he actually doesn't, because he was Endeavor's fan, right?
Okay.
And maybe then Dabi is maybe the original plan was for Endeavor to die.
Okay.
But in fact, Hawks actually helped Endeavor and set him up even better.
Right.
To be
and now
the
Dabi's
number one hero.
Like, what the hell?
What the hell, man? We had a good thing going, right?
And then Hawks is probably going to be like, okay, here's how it's going to go.
Because one of the most entertaining things you can have happen whenever you have someone who's being duplicitous, right, and is basically working with the other side, is that they don't need to have the same goals as the other side.
True.
And then you can have conflict in multiple different directions, right? Yeah. Two-party conflict, that's cool. But if you have three-party conflict, Mexican standoff and all that stuff, like it can get way more dynamic. Yeah. So I hope that there's something along those lines where now that we're seeing this shady side of Hawks, we'll still get that villainous virtue kind of a thing, since he's in sketchy territory right now, where it's the no, but I totally believe in Endeavor or something like that.
Other thing that I forgot to mention that was probably my favorite thing about not even the episode, but just something that we got in the OP was that freaking Shinso with the Izawa rat,
and he was
kind of look on him.
And when him and Deku were squaring off, he was getting ready to like throw him and stuff. Like
it looked so very much like something that we've been wanting for a long time. And I'm gonna bring up his image here because it gave me such just hope and wonderfulness. So one of the things that his quirk kind of made me very much think of back when in season 2 that he was brought in was that Izawa needs to like help this guy. Like him and Izawa are like
You've even got the messy hair and look tired all the time.
Right, exactly. Yes, the system did not help this kid.
Nope.
And Izawa, I'll bet you anything, was someone who very much had to overcome similar stuff as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they even mentioned that because Izawa was all about quirk negation and the training tests were up against the machines.
Yeah.
That doesn't help you.
It doesn't help you much at all.
And it doesn't help you when you have mind control when you're up against machines.
Right, exactly. So here we are, and he's in the OP twice.
Yep.
No, not the villain twice, but shown actually like in a training environment, almost kind of thing with Deku like flying towards him.
Yeah.
So got to see what that's all about. And then other thing that I thought was just like a really cool like visual here that I'm almost a little bit like confused about the more I look at it is this like almost like
I think it's the previous like, All for One holders.
One for All holders.
Or One for All. Yeah.
But it almost looked like Shigaraki was at the end. Is it just me? So here's
yeah, the one before All Might, I forget her name.
Yeah. I think it was like Nana Shimura or something like that. But then, okay, we go back, and there's other very... Oh no! So this is no.
Oh, that's the original brother.
That's the original brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hence the white color palette, blank slate, kind of,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
first one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting though because the one in blue here very much looks like Deku in a weird way.
Oh.
Doesn't it kind of?
Oh, okay. I can kind of see it. Like, it looks a bit tall for Deku, but yeah.
Oh, of course. But the
similarities, yeah.
But I was just gonna say this because the actual looks here for all of them are very much like emphatically given. One of them even has almost a bit of like a stand look, like hovering behind this mob.
From the color, I got the sense that it might be All Might, but then we see the face and it's something completely different.
But then with the red and blue ones at the end there's no actual face. So why are you hiding that?
Right. Is that like the idea that eventually we'll get to the point where it's the two brothers originally and we'll get to see like All for One and the other brother?
It just looks really cool. But then also the Shigaraki hand grab kind of thing, but coming from the original One for All holder.
And then Deku reaching out. While he's covered in the same kind of,
galactic kind of cloud.
Yeah, right. Goop stuff that the other two were covered in.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff gets me hyped because I'm like, wait, are we getting some One for All lore kind of?
I think so.
Like Avatar state, like kind of looking at your past lives kind of stuff.
Possibly.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go. Hero Society, Endeavor.
Yep.
The whole like Todoroki family potentially even. Deku, One for All, and Shinso.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go season 5. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. We're going to be doing these week to week, getting them recorded and edited as fast as possible to you guys. But yeah, no early access for this, of course, because they're getting recorded and edited and put up as fast as possible there. But if you want full-length timer versions where you sync up your reaction, your episode footage with our reaction, you can check that out. Link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level support there gets you access to our Discord where you can chat with us and the community there about MHA for anime onlys, MHA for the manga people and stuff in there. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Info in the description.
Yeah, so if ain't that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.